Hello everybody, welcome to the press conference right after the conference of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group. We're going to hear the statements from the Ministers of Defense, Boris, Pistorius, Germany, then Jarvis, UK, Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukraine, and from NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. And afterwards there will be hopefully some time for questions, but we'll have to leave at 6 p.m. Mr. Minister.
Ladies and gentlemen, first let me use this opportunity to welcome Dan Jarvis as a new co-chair of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group in this setting as well. Dan, our joint preparation and chairing of the meeting has been excellent. Thank you very much for that. And we agree, we want to continue and further expand the outstanding cooperation on chairing the Ukraine Defense Contact Group. Thank you to you, Mikhailo, for giving us a battlefield update from Ukraine, which was really impressive. A few weeks ago, we met in Ukraine, Mikhailo and me, and I was able to see with my own eyes how successfully you are reclaiming Ukrainian territory captured by Russia by using uncrewed systems, drones and uncrewed vehicles. Thank you for sharing your lessons learned on the battlefield with us. Our cooperation hasn't been just about support for a long time now. We are learning from you. Our countries' industries are learning from each other. We were very pleased that President Zelensky joined us for the UDCG meeting today. Once more, he made it very clear how important support is right now while you are having the momentum on your side, Mikhailo. We must not relent now. And finally, Mark, thank you as well for your involvement and your unwavering support. Clouds of smoke over an oil refinery today, or a burning oil terminal in St. Petersburg during the International Economic Forum a few weeks ago. They are emblematic of the current situation. They show how far removed Russia's apparatus of power is from reality. Moscow all but pretended that the fire in St. Petersburg had not happened. But images cannot be argued away. Just like the faltering of the Russian economy, the high prices for petrol and the lack of success on the front. Putin must accept that his consistently brutal war against Ukraine makes no sense. His persistent refusal to accept reality has massive consequences for Ukraine. Some nights, Putin deploys over 600 combat drones and dozens of rockets and cruise missiles. I have said it before, and I say it again very clearly. This is nothing but terror. Every night, innocent civilians are dying because of this. We cannot and we will not just stand by and watch this. This is why we will continue to support Ukraine in its effort to defend itself. It is necessary, and it is the right thing for the United States and the G7 nations to say that sanctions should be reinstated against Russian oil. Mikhailo, you can continue to count on us. Germany will continue to tailor its support to Ukraine's requirements. Our focus remains on air defense. We have delivered another IRIS-T system to Ukraine. Most recently, we also fast-tracked the delivery of IRIS-T SLS and SLM guided missiles. Additionally, we will deliver a 3-digit number of air-to-air missiles from our own stocks. And we have agreed to provide $200 million for the procurement of additional PAC-3 guided missiles under the Jump Start program. This means we will co-fund the first delivery tranche. We want to take the lead and encourage other supporters. We are also continuing to support the ongoing Pearl program. We will make another $200 million available for that. And we are continuing our regular deliveries of drones and long-range ammunition. We are deliberately promoting cooperation between Ukrainian and German enterprises as part of our support for Ukraine. This applies in particular to the development and production of drones, but also to building up medium and long-range capabilities. And we are using UDCG meetings to sign agreements to kickstart our projects. Today is no exception. A Ukrainian and a German company have agreed to manufacture uncrewed vehicles together. The required production capacities will be established in Germany. The vehicles, called Termit, will then be delivered to the Ukrainian armed forces. The fact that Russia is attacking civilians not only with drones but also with ballistic missiles is unfortunately a regular news item. Mikhailo and I have therefore signed another very important agreement today. It provides a framework for the joint development of a new air defense system to counter those ballistic missiles. Our country's industries are already in consultation over this. Ladies and gentlemen, our message is clear. Ukraine can continue to rely on us. Mikhailo, we stand by you. Slava Ukraini, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Boris. It's a privilege to be working with you, and it's an honour to be here today representing the United Kingdom. This week, we have again seen that Putin recognises no limits. Civilians killed, even a cathedral bombed. A reminder that this group's purpose remains as urgent as ever. I'd like to thank all of those 47 nations from across the globe for the solidarity that they've shown today. What is pledged by UDCG members is having a direct impact on the battlefield. Ukraine's forces are fighting with determination and with momentum. And as the new UK Defence Secretary, I want to underline my total commitment to the Ukrainian people and their fight for freedom. After my appointment just a few days ago, my first international call was to Minister Fedorov. And I'm absolutely delighted that on the early hours of Sunday morning, our extraordinary Royal Marine Commandos seized a Russian Shadow Fleet vessel, dealing yet another blow to Putin's war machine. And through the UDCG with Boris, I intend to keep Ukraine strong enough to confront the Russian war machine, strong enough to secure a just and lasting peace. With Mikhailo, I have agreed that the UK will provide 150,000 Ukrainian-made drones, as well as more than 350 air defence missiles and radars, all of which will be delivered by the end of the year as part of a £750 million package funded by the sale of seized Russian assets through the ERA loan programme. I'm proud to announce also that the UK will assume command of the Multinational Force for Ukraine headquarters next month. Under the leadership of Major General Tom Bateman, the UK, France, alongside allies and partners, will prepare for the long-term regeneration of Ukraine's armed forces when a peace deal is agreed. This war was never only about the fate of one nation. Ukrainians are fighting for their own security, but also for Europe's. And they are also fighting for their own values and for Europe's. We will stand with them today, tomorrow, and for as long as it takes. Thank you.
Шановні колеги, перш за все хотів би подякувати генеральному секретарю
First, I would like to
НАТО,
thank
міністрам
Secretary
оборони
General and the
Британії,
Ministers of Defense.
Німеччини. Сьогодні було дуже важливе засідання
We've had a very important,
і
today
сьогодні
was a
його
very
відвідав
important
також
UDCG meeting,
президент
also
Володимир
visited
Зеленський.
by
Це був
President
дуже
Volodymyr
сильний сигнал
Zelensky.
всім
It has
нашим
been a very
партнерам.
strong signal to all
І
of our
сьогодні
partners.
взагалі символічний день.
Today is a
Вже
symbolic day
якраз Борис про
in
це
more ways
говорив.
than one, which
Події, які
Boris has
відбуваються
mentioned.
сьогодні в
The
Москві,
events
вони
happening in
точно
Moscow
про те, що
today
Україна рухається
definitely
правильним шляхом і Україна
suggest
стає
that
все
Ukraine
більш
is moving in the right
сильнішою.
direction, becoming stronger.
Сьогодні вся наша конференція UDCG, вона пройшла під певним гаслом «Вікно можливостей». Тобто за останні місяці ми зробили свою домашню роботу, ми досягли результату по багатьом доменам війни. І сьогодні багато хто з партнерів говорив про те, що вони бачать це вікно можливостей, і вони готові продовжувати допомагати, збільшувати допомогу для нашої країни. Сьогодні був анонсований один з найбільших пакетів допомоги для Pearl. Це $1 мільярд. Напевно, це найбільше взагалі, якщо ми говоримо про оголошення на UDCG, найбільший пакет допомоги для Pearl. Також сьогодні був оголошений пакет допомоги на Extended Range артилерію, тобто на дальню артилерію, 30 плюс кілометрів. Ми ще підбиваємо підсумки, але вже бачимо, що це буде приблизно $500 мільярда. І сьогодні також були анонси щодо підтримки українських дронів і українських ракет. Тільки Нідерланди Нідерланди оголосили сьогодні допомогу на ракети, крилаті ракети, на близько ніж 700 крилатих ракет. І ми всі підсумки будемо розуміти через кілька годин, тому що сьогодні дійсно була велика кількість різних оголошень. Ми вже бачимо, що це приблизно 4 мільярди доларів, це може бути більше, тому що деякі країни вони відкрили програми, які оголошували до цього. Ми не рахуємо всі ці оголошення, які були до цього. Але що можемо сказати? Що для мене особиста відмінність вже третього Рамштайну від всіх попередніх, що з'явилася якість і фокус. У нас є 3 ключові пріоритети. Це антибалістична програма, Air Defense програма, це друга, це артилерія дальньої дії, і це наші дрони, дрони українського виробництва, які сьогодні допомагають нам зупиняти ворога, робити middle strike операції, бити по території ворога. І сьогодні всі, хто говорили на UDCG про підтримку України і оголошували нові пакети допомоги, всі говорили в рамках цих 3 пріоритетів. І це про зміну якості підтримки наших партнерів, але там ще великий шлях, над яким ми сьогодні продовжуємо працювати. Також сьогодні ми підписали дуже важливий документ про шерінг даних щодо антибалістичної програми з Борисом, якраз про той процес, який допоможе нам спільно з нашими партнерами створити антибалістику. І ми це зробили в присутності президента Володимира Зеленського. Він особисто є лідером цього процесу по створенню антибалістичної програми для нашої країни. Разом з нашими партнерами ми її будемо створювати в історично швидкі терміни. Також я хотів би сказати, що подякувати окремо і нашим партнерам з Британії. Сьогодні була оголошена додаткова інформація про те, що проект «Ера» і заморожені російські активи, які будуть використані, які знаходяться в Британії, будуть використані для українських дронів. Це 150 тисяч українських дронів. Ми дуже сподіваємося, що якомога швидше ці дрони будуть закуплені українських компаній і будуть служити нашій країні для досягнення нашої візії війни, зупинити ворога, примусити його до справедливого миру, продовжити наші middle strike операції, deep strike операції, продовжити знищувати росіян, які намагаються окупувати нашу країну. Взагалі, травень місяць він був рекордним щодо тих територій, які деокупувала наша країна за останні роки. Більше ніж на 100 кілометрів квадратних ми більше деокупували, ніж ворог зміг окупувати. У нас виросла кількість знищеного ворога на кожен квадратний кілометр. Сьогодні ми показували всі ці результати, і ще раз хочу сказати, що сьогоднішня зустріч у форматі Рамштайн, вона пройшла під гаслом «Вікно можливостей». І поки ми бачимо чітко це вікно можливостей найближчі місяці, ми працюємо над тим, щоб створити нові вікна можливостей для того, щоб змусити ворога до справедливого миру. Тому дякую, шановні партнери, за вашу допомогу. Дякую всім учасникам UDCG за те, що підтримують нашу країну. І ми продовжуємо виконувати нашу домашню роботу, яку ми задекларували, і активно кожного дня рухаємося вперед.
Dear Michalo, dear Boris, dear Dan, welcome, by the way, also in this role. Good to have you on the team. It's great to have you all in Brussels today for this important meeting. Also important, I think, that President Zelensky was there at the start of the meeting, a clear sign of the importance he attaches to this, of course. Let me be brief, because a lot has already been said, and we might allow for a few questions. First of all, the window of opportunity. I think this is the key theme today. More support focused on Ukraine's priorities will help increase the pressure on Russia. And it will help for them to come, hopefully, to the table and finally now play ball in some meaningful negotiations. Therefore, end this terrible war. Let's do everything to make that happen. And secondly, let me just highlight a few commitments. You mentioned already a couple. Hundreds of millions of pearl from Germany, Netherlands, Latvia, Denmark, Lithuania, Norway, Luxembourg, Croatia, Sweden and Iceland. So that's 1/3 of the alliance. Plus from our partner Australia, important. Then indeed, really great what you are doing, the UK, 150,000 drones, 350 missiles. We have heard about air defense from Spain, more drones from the Netherlands and Germany, vehicles from Canada, and also more pledges to the Czech ammunition initiative, which is so important when it comes to long-range ammunition. and many more. Our time at the podium is finite, and we want to allow for a few questions, but that's what I just wanted to highlight in addition.
Thank you. We have only time for 2 questions, as you said. Jessica Parker, BBC, would be the first one to ask.
I'd first like to ask a question to the UK Defence Secretary. Your predecessor quit, saying the UK's defence funding plans fell well short of what is required. Do you agree? Will you be fighting for more? And how are you going to pay for it, if so? And I'd just like to ask the German Defence Minister as well, Minister Pistorius, given the US announcement today about its review, can you update us what is going on with the US plans to withdraw 5,000 troops from Germany? Is it happening? When's it happening? What information can you give us?
I have huge respect for my predecessor, who's a good friend and a neighbour of mine, and I pay tribute to his service as Defence Secretary. And it's been striking the number of people who've taken the opportunity to thank him for his work here today. My priority now is to make sure that our armed forces have the resources that they need to do a very difficult job of work that's being asked of them. I made reference in Parliament the other day about the nature of the threat that we face. The world is a very dangerous place. It's my job to make sure that we've got the resources to equip our armed forces to do the job that we ask of them. That is a responsibility that I take very seriously, not least because I have stood in their shoes myself. So I'm working around the clock with my colleagues across government to make sure that we can get the DIP completed, that we can get the resource that we need to make sure that our armed forces personnel get the resources that we need. That is an absolute priority for me, and I'm determined to make a success of it.
There was no concrete announcement of withdrawing troops or personnel from Germany or even Europe. What we have heard again this morning was an announcement of a review in the 6 months to come, and we discussed about that. And I think this is not a surprise either. It's about what I always underlined already last year in February. It's about a roadmap. It's about a synchronized way of doing it. The most relevant issue is to avoid dangerous capability gaps caused by withdrawing something and not being able to substitute to compensate in the time being. So this is what we are talking about with our American allies. It's about having a roadmap. Withdrawing is okay. We know that they do more in the Indo-Pacific, and we know that we have to do more for our conventional deterrence and defense. But it takes some time, and it needs to acknowledge that we have all in Europe and even in the United States a challenge when it comes to the capacities of production of the defense industry in our countries. So even if we had the biggest amount of money, we could not achieve in just a couple of months or 1 year what others could withdraw. So this is about the discussion we are leading now. No concrete announcement for withdrawing anything in the months to come.
The third question, already the last question, goes to Amira Barkush from United 24.
Amira Barkush, United 24. I want to ask Mr. Fedorov a question. I think I will say it in Ukrainian, if that's okay. В нещодавньому інтерв'ю ви говорили про вікно можливості, яке буде у України на полі бою наступні 6 місяців. Чи обговорювали ви це сьогодні на зустрічі з партнерами? І чи, на вашу думку, партнери наразі розуміють важливість цього вікна? І чи ви говорили з ними про те, що саме важливо надати Україні, щоб вона зберегла свою перевагу? Дякую.
Yes, I would like to reiterate that the entire UDCG was held under the slogan of window opportunity. And we discussed, we showed specific results, specific numbers in terms of middle strike operations, what's going on with deep strikes, what's going on in the battlefield. This is all based on data, and I'm sure that all our partners understand that it really is a window opportunity, and the money that has been announced, the resources that has been announced, needs to be allocated as quickly as possible for what is a priority for us. So it's very important that we have the sequence. Sort of at the first UDCG this year, we've shown a vision, a certain vision of what we will do, what the result will be if we get the help along these specific avenues. The partners took our word for it, trusted us, allocated the resources for those avenues, for those directions that we needed. That was set forth by us as the most relevant. Then there was a second UDCG. Today we're now in my third UDCG, and we can see progress taking place in the battlefield, in the sky, and over the territory of Russia. So I think it is evident that if we continue to show this positive trend and showing results, and we're saying that it's a window of opportunity, then clearly this needs to be taken seriously, and everything must be done for us to make use of this window of opportunity, which is why we discussed in quite extensive detail of our needs in the nearest future. It has been a fairly strong UDCG in terms of announcements, so we see in terms of the key priorities, there has been specific announcements, specific packages have been made. Everyone present at the UDCG today understands and can specifically name why we need specifically those help in specifically those areas. In a closed format, we discussed some of our next actions, how we will continue seizing, taking the initiative from the enemy and beating the Russians in a technological cycle, and why we today need to invest into things that have not yet been discussed today, but what will be discussed in future, new types and kinds of drones, ballistics, etc. Also important today, there have been announcements on cruise missiles as well as counter cruise missiles and counter Shaheds and hundreds of missiles that have been announced today. So I hope that all the partners see and have a clear understanding that we have a window of opportunity that is present. We have to make use of it. And again, today and what's happening in Moscow has been a good signal, a good sign of us moving in the right direction, and the things we're saying are actually taking place.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. See you again soon.